Tashidle everyone, the viral manipulated video on His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama's interaction with a young Indian boy is being circulated everywhere in the world, sadly in the news bulletins also. I am a common Tibetan. My name is Tenyang. I am mother of 2 young boys and a daughter of parents who raised 6 children. My parents fled Tibet in the year 1959 after CCP brutally invaded Tibet. For us Tibetans and for peace and compassionate loving people all over the world, these days are the great shocking and sad moment to see the viral manipulated video being circulated everywhere with only intention to disgrace the very pure, unconditional, generous nature and identity of His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama. I would like to share with you all a very informative video in which you will see the whole truth, in which you will like to share with you all my rest of culture and tradition into our community. As in the coming video, you will listen to a Tibetan man named Jigme who will share his experience of being raised up in the Tibetan community in his family. I am being raised in a Tibetan cultural community and my mother breastfed me until I am 5 years old. And also she breastfed my siblings until 5 years. My father and my mother used to feed us the baby food by mashing first through their mouth and then feed us through mouth by mouth, which carries the very pure, generous and compassionate way of protection from a parent to their kids. My mother used to explain to me and my siblings that through this way, the parents, they check that the food is being properly mashed. There is no lumps left. It's neither hot, not so cold. And this way they used to feed the kids through mouth by mouth. And this also carries into cleaning up the nose also in our community. My mother and my father used to clean my dirty nose when I'm small through their mouth like this, taking out the tongue and then cleaning our nose. And they used to explain to us that through this, the parents used to clean their children's nose without any harming through soft tongue like this. There is no other reason, vulgar reason behind such gesture, such pure gesture of love and compassion. And this is what His Holiness the Dalai Lama is representing, is showing to all over the world that love and compassionate can be through any form. And then in our Tibetan community, kissing on forehead, kissing on cheeks, kissing on mouth, and kissing on nose are the pure, generous, compassionate way towards the children. It's very often that our parents kisses us. And this is very common in every country, in every part of Tibetan country. I'm also being raised like this. And I raised my 2 young boys with the same Tibetan culture and tradition. Taking out tongue in front of elder one, respected one, spiritual one, friends and authorities are the gesture of respect. And taking out tongue in front of kids and children are gesture of love, affectionate from an elder one to a younger one. Therefore, I would like to request every one of you to see and observe through a very positive way, to see and feel the very pure, generous love and compassionate way of interaction from His Holiness the Dalai Lama to the young boy. If we block our mind with a negative thought, we will be deprived of seeing anything good, pure, genuine love and interacted from the elder one to a younger one. Therefore, I would like to request you all to support the truth and see the truth and not to exaggerate just on the viral manipulated video to disgrace the very genuine, peace and positive, compassionate way of interaction interacted by His Holiness the Dalai Lama to the young Indian boy without any negativity thought behind it. CCP has occupied our country. CCP cannot control peace, love, compassionate and our countries. And all countries who love peace and harmony, CCP cannot disgrace the very identity of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in this world. His Holiness the Dalai Lama's gratefulness towards the mankind, towards whole universe is worldwide applauded, acclaimed, and can be watched on the official website. CCP cannot make us forget the 157 Tibetan martyrs who self-immolated by burning themselves with raising slogans of "Long live His Holiness the Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama to visit Tibet." So please, I request you all once again to see and support the truth and not to exaggerate depending on the short manipulated video. Thank you. And now let's watch the video from the Raise the World project now with Jigme in the video. Thank you.
World Raisers, welcome to this special video.
The Dark Truth. So we actually just watched this video and we need everybody to watch it with us. Because until you watch this, you don't really actually know what's going on. The video circulating around the internet, it's manipulated. A scheme, an attempt to defame the Dalai Lama, and there's no doubt it's working. But for us, spiritual seekers, seekers of truth, we need to open our minds and we need to actually investigate and be open to an actual explanation as to what's going on. Because the truth is that the video that was circulated, the original source is like from a month ago, from a global event. It hasn't been hidden. It just wasn't a big deal, so nobody was trying to hide it at all. Somebody was looking for a way to discredit the Dalai Lama.
Once again.
Yeah, found the video after watching who knows how much stuff, and then totally cut it up, edited it to look like it did, and then now that's what's circulating, and it's not the real video. So you need to watch this one. So if you notice, I'm wearing a Shiva shirt because most of our audience is Sanatan Dharmis, and we absolutely love our audience. Like, who else on YouTube has a setup like this? We got Shiva, we got Krishna, we got Buddha, we got Jesus. We are spiritual people, and that's the main benefit of being spiritual, is that we're open to the spiritual masters and teachings and divine beings of all faiths. And yes, our paths have crossed through Tibetan Buddhism, but we're not calling ourselves Tibetan Buddhists. The closest definition for me is Sanatan Dharma, right? Because it literally means, in my mind, spirituality, right? So luckily we have you guys for an audience. If anybody can understand and open their hearts like you already have. In the past, India welcomed the Dalai Lama as a refuge. So I see you guys, you're like brothers, right? He lives in your country. So we need to not be infected by the negativity and the slander that's being directed there for a very nefarious reason. It's explained in this video, so you need to watch it. It's a little bit of a longer video, and I know not all of you have that big of an attention span. Sometimes the watch time's not so good, but do your best to, watch the whole video, because
it's important.
Yeah, you need to protect your minds, right?
Yeah.
And then if you get infected and then believe what's happening to the you're believing a lie, right? And you don't want to believe lies, do you? Coming from a very negative source.
It is absolutely baffling and heartbreaking to watch a manipulated viral video, edited and cleverly spliced without the beginning and end, to negatively change the context of an innocent and playful interaction between His Holiness the Dalai Lama with a young Indian student. Now, we do live in a new era of synthetic media, but if you're willing to open your mind and make decisions without assumptions, and even fact-check the quality of the tailored information that you have received, then I encourage you to watch this video till the end, where I will pull the full, unedited interaction between His Holiness and the young Indian student.
We couldn't find that last night. I was looking for it. I wanted to see the unedited version.
We thought we did, but we totally didn't.
I'm
Yeah.
like, where is it?
For the context to the video online, the woman sitting on the stage there is the boy's mother. Here's the
What?
boy breaking a coconut as an auspicious tradition as His Holiness was returning back to his residence.
I never heard of this.
What?
tradition.
Okay, so that was at the end of the, that would have been after the interaction then. Okay, well, that's really important to know because the mother of the child would have seen the whole interaction
was
with the
there.
Dalai Lama telling the boy to suck his tongue, and they're greeting him at the end like really happily, like, so that's the mother, right? If the mother of the child was okay with the Dalai Lama's interaction, then maybe it was okay.
Oh, that was at the end, the coconut? I
Yeah,
thought it
he
was the
just said
beginning.
that.
Oh.
You probably did not see any of these.
I didn't see that.
You were not meant to see any of these.
Oh,
Huh.
okay.
So we weren't
So
meant
please
to see
remember
that.
them as you watch the unedited video later.
Well, yeah.
Tashdele, my name is Jigme and I'm a Tibetan.
Jigme, Tashidele.
What makes a world beautiful is how we are able to share our differences in cultural practices, beliefs, and traditions.
Yeah.
We have learned to grow in that global diversity and inclusion while trying to understand and acknowledge the various perspectives and approaches to cultural patterns for religions and social classes, while learning to respect and appreciate different cultural etiquettes, especially around kindness, curiosity, and respect. Every day before I left my house, my now deceased father and I would touch our foreheads, kiss on our lips before waving goodbye. That tradition lasted for 31 years of my life.
31 years.
In our Tibetan culture,
Wow.
touching our foreheads and kissing signifies the recognition of our proximity and spirituality.
I'm going to
My
kiss my
parents
dad.
never said, I love you, like many Tibetan parents. But they never needed to because our unique customs, beliefs, and our ancient traditional practices of mutual love were constant reminders and part of our daily lives. Whether it be stretching out our arms and bowing to welcome strangers, or touching a friend's shoulder or holding their hands in public as a sign of friendship,
The Dalai Lama
or
does
sticking
that all
out
the
our
time.
tongues
Yeah.
as a sign of respect.
Oh, yeah, the tongues. I knew that. Yeah, this is in 7 Years of Tibet.
Oh, that,
Yeah, I remember watching that movie the first time. I was like, what are they doing?
oh, that's from the movie.
It's like respect, because yeah, they're not. At first, I thought they were angry, but
Now, these
no, it's
practices might
respectful.
seem backward and weird in today's world,
Totally
but
weird.
they are our social norms,
That's cool,
our social
too.
behaviors. It is what defines us as Tibetans and our ways of life. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, a Tibetan Buddhist monk, has been in the eyes of the world since birth for 87 years,
Oh yeah.
living a
totally.
pure monastic life of celibacy, a spiritual guru of an entire religion, considered a living Buddha of compassion, our Cherisi, the patron saint of Tibet.
There is a
Kuan
He has attended Nirvana.
Avalokiteshvara.
Nirvana, a state of freedom from all sufferings that we as Buddhists believe can only be achieved by removing all personal wishes and overcoming negative emotions. They say that the deepest lines on His Holiness's face are his laugh lines. He brings
I can see
joy,
that.
laughter, and mutual enrichment to our world, selflessly and tirelessly promoting religious harmony and peace forever. On the global stage, on any platform, he treats every religious or political leader, celebrity, or any member of the audience, young or old, with banter and playfulness. He is celebrated and loved for his teaching of compassion, forgiveness, contentment, and tolerance. He is appreciated for introducing the world with the joys of living the Tibetan way of life, our cultural practices, beliefs, and traditions.
Oh yeah. Oh good. They're doing a little clip. Sweet. Yeah, yeah. He loves pulling on the beards. Oh yeah, nose touching. Is that's Deepak
Deepak,
Chopra?
There
Yeah.
he is.
Oh, there's Russell Brand. Yeah. Sweet. Oh yeah, pulling on the nose. Yeah, Russell Brand. What was that? Desmond Tutu. And there's the tongue.
It seems like many people in these turbulent times, being forced in an environment where we are meeting people virtually or making e-connections, have completely forgotten what human connection means.
Good
In our
point.
Tibetan culture, our elders, especially our grandparents who really didn't have much to give or offer, would affectionately make fun of a child when they ask for something. A child could ask them for a candy or some pocket change, and the elder will lovingly barter for affection and then trap you with a joke or a riddle. Nambala o chik te tangbo. First, give me a kiss on my cheek. Mala udugo. I need you to touch your forehead on my forehead.
I love that
Ta
tradition.
nogu tugo. Let's
yeah,
touch
yeah,
our noses.
So cute.
Ta o
Totally, that happened to me lots too. Like maybe think about it, even when you were a kid and your grandparent. Yeah, I remember my grandpa always, he'd grab your nose like this. He'd go,
Oh.
and then he'd
Oh,
put,
I
and then
kind
he'd,
of remember. Yeah, yeah.
and then he'd put
that's-
his thumb and he'd be like, I got your
yeah.
nose, I got your
Yeah, yeah.
nose. And yeah, they were always trying to get affection from us, right?
chigo. Give me a kiss. Ta khai me ta chele sa. Which means I gave you everything, so the only thing left for me is for you to eat my tongue. So the child probably never gets the candy or money, but gets a beautiful lesson on life,
Eat my
love,
tongue.
and family. That is exactly what His Holiness tenderly did to the child, the boy who asked
Yeah, the
for a
first
hug.
pair, and then
He gave him as much love, affection, and kindness as one would receive from a Tibetan family.
Okay, so yeah, you're bartering with the kid, and I can totally see like a grandpa doing that with his, grandson. And then it still seems kind of weird because the Dalai Lama, yeah, they're not related. It's an Indian boy, but the Dalai Lama sees like all sentient beings as his
children.
just affectionate. Same with like Russell Brand, Lady Gaga, all the other celebrities. It's just he's playing with them like they're his kids.
The viral video doesn't show His Holiness holding the child's hand on to his cheeks and praying with the child and giving him personal advices
Right.
before tickling him with his larger-than-life laughter. Now, that is
see that.
exactly how our elders in our communities show affection with our children. It is what a 87-year-old did to a child. This show of physical love and emotion is what defines us as Tibetans and our simple ways of life and love.
Thank you. Thank you.
So cute.
Yeah, and then right there you already see that the footage was manipulated because there was a big bubble covering it. So I thought when we watched last night, I thought that they actually touched tongues, but they're not.
Oh, that's what you meant earlier. Oh, okay, because of the bubble.
Yeah, so then I can see
okay.
that he just said, "Eat my tongue," but the Dalai Lama
In
says,
his language.
"Suck my tongue," right? Which is the Dalai Lama's old, right?
The thing is, we associate something with the word suck. So
Oh yeah,
he
he's just
doesn't. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. It's like,
Oh yeah. So he's just teasing him playfully, and then he's like this, and then he pulls away. He's like, "Ha ha 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 ha, gotcha!" Like he's teasing him. Yeah, he's like, "Gotcha,"
oh,
and
I
that's
didn't,
why.
okay.
And that's why the mom can be right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, he hits him, and he's like, "Ha ha ha, gotcha, fooled ya," right?
Oh, okay.
So he's like,
Yeah, nice.
First you gotta kiss me or whatever, like exactly what the guy explained
Yeah.
that they do in their culture. And then the mom, who would be defending her child if anything creepy was actually happening, is like 2 seats over, seeing everything, and the boy seems happy, like he just got teased. I miss my grandpa now.
Aww.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
He's like, what is going on?
Same human brothers, sisters.
Same human brothers, sisters.
nice.
Thank you. Now you should look those good human beings who create peace, happiness, should not follow those human beings who always killing other people. You should not look these people.
Yeah. Giving them advice. Follow the peaceful human beings, not human beings that are killing. And then he tickles them.
When the boy asked His Holiness for a hug,
That's awesome.
Can I hug you?
as his baffled mother waved at him from the stage, from a seat, one seat away from His Holiness, it literally took two people a couple of attempts to interpret the boy's request.
It's a question.
여러분께서 도신 탐나지 되가 여러분께서 꿀에 도 탐나지 있는 지리야나스 가리야 자 여러분께서
The mother's in disbelief. She's right there.
여러분께서 학생이라고 두스 학직 전에지 됐어 오케이 come
Okay. So wow, because yeah, the clip we watched last night, of course, didn't show that. He's like, "Can I hug you?" And of course, Dalai Lama didn't understand. And then once he does, yeah, come on up.
Now, His Holiness is not fluent in English. He's a self-taught English speaker.
It's very
If
bad.
were there
English.
words lost in translation when he said, "Suck my tongue," the chele sa, eat my tongue? Absolutely, yes,
Chele
it
sa.
was. There was words lost in translation. I vividly remember watching this video. Oh, to the people who are saying that this video was hidden and it just came out, well, it was a global live telecast from outside the Tsuklakhan, the main temple in Dharamsala, where His Holiness was addressing over 120 Indian graduate students about valuing empathy, inclusion, and trust.
It was a global live telecast, and it wasn't a big deal until now.
okay.
So
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah,
something sums up.
This happened on February 28, 2023. That was a month ago, more than a month ago. So the bigger question
February
is,
28.
why is an edited version of this video surfacing now?
Yeah.
Let's put a pin to that for now. So I vividly remember watching this video, and like many Tibetans, I was a bit envious and happy for this student for receiving such reverence and love.
He watched
Yeah.
it.
In fact, when you
Cool.
watch the unedited video later, you will also notice a Tibetan gentleman taking a photo to capture this beautiful interaction. At moments like this, we Tibetans say "Kapso che, kapso che." It's a small prayer of veneration to thank and cherish His Holiness's playful nature, and for the person receiving this personal good gesture and acts of kindness of having good karma from their previous life.
So that's like a big
His
deal.
Holiness the Dalai Lama is not only the religious leader of the Tibetan people, but he's the manifestation of the Tibetan nation and its peaceful and honest struggle against a cruel, despotic, and totalitarian colonial power. Now, why was a live telecast of an event that happened more than a month ago was tailored and viciously marketed a week ago?
Yeah.
So on March 23rd, 2023, His Holiness the Dalai Lama named and formally enthroned the 10th reincarnation of Kalka Dzogchen Dampa Rinpoche as the spiritual leader of Mongolia. He was enthroned as one of the highest Buddhist leaders, the head of the Gelugpa Buddhist school in the landlocked nation of Mongolia. The ceremony in Dharamsala was attended by over 600 Mongolians and over 5,000 monks and nuns. This event immensely provoked the rage of the CCP,
Oh, jeez.
which has been doing everything. The CCP has been doing everything to control and stop the spread of Buddhism.
Okay, so the CCP, we don't know who that is either. So we're very not political at all, but we understand that
We
there,
still have some.
that there is some powers at play against the Dalai Lama, who
Yeah.
was the ruler of Tibet, and then that's why he's in exile in India. So yeah, there's some powerful forces that hate the Dalai Lama. So when the Dalai Lama named the successor in Mongolia, some people are out to get him.
Oh, since ever.
Shook them to speculate that the now retired Dalai Lama still continued to remain as a politico-religious force to reckon across Buddhist nations, including Tibet. The CCP dictator Xi was supposedly stumped since their worst nightmare had turned into a reality.
Wow,
What
this
does
is
that mean?
big deal, right? Well, so apparently the government, I don't even want to name the country that we're talking about because I know how the internet works nowadays.
Oh,
I don't want to say the word, but we all know which country it is. But anyways, the leaders of that country are really upset that the Dalai Lama still has such power to name a successor of Buddhism within one of their neighboring countries. Right, because they also, there's a while ago they were talking about when the Dalai Lama names his reincarnation, his successor, and then he said that it wouldn't be within that country's borders because that country wants to name their own replacement. So that country wants basically Buddhism and the leaders of Buddhism, it wants to control them.
It's kind of so weird. I still can't wrap my head around it. I just still don't understand this whole dynamics.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Politics. So they want to control everything, basically.
CCP has been brutally obsessed with making sure that Buddhist leaders were elected through Communist Party regulations. And they are overly obsessed with the selection of the next Dalai Lama, the 15th Dalai Lama,
Yeah.
to be
Please don't
selected
incarnate.
and approved with the CCP's blessing.
Yeah, they want to pick it.
So literally
So they
a
have
week
control
after this
over
ceremony,
them.
the video clip surfaced. The timing was once again like clockwork to sway the public's opinion about Tibet and His Holiness.
Slander.
It was, of course, sensationalized into a clickbait story with leading titles and fake descriptions and an edited video.
Totally clickbaity. Yeah, and that's really sad that the world has come to that where nobody's investigating for themselves anymore, and then it's just you see something and it's absolutely awful. We're talking about one of the worst crimes a human being can commit, and now we're labeling the Dalai Lama that.
It's awful.
This
Literally
is
awful.
an outrage. Like, once you get to the bottom of it and watch the whole video and then know the context of the situation and know that the father or the boy's mom was right there and everybody was happy.
They say that the most successful propaganda is the one which does not pose as such.
Let's read this thing. Wherever the readers are, wherever the viewers are, that is where propaganda reports must extend their tentacles.
It's so creepy.
All over Twitter, all over
Oh,
Instagram, all over Facebook, all over YouTube. Yeah, a little short, especially now that short videos are just trending. They go like wildfire.
yeah, people can't get it out of their head anymore.
And then that's it. You
One
watch
scene, yeah.
you watch a little 10-second clip and then you know
And
the
then
whole
you
know
yeah,
the whole story.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, yeah.
No
yeah,
problem.
Yeah, yeah.
It deeply saddens and breaks our hearts reading horrifying comments and appalling accusations against His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
Heartbreaking. I cried so much, you have no idea. Last night, this morning, I just couldn't stop crying. It just hurts. It really, really hurts.
Yeah, and we read a ton of those comments last night. I wanted not
Yeah.
because I believed it. I still want to investigate for myself. Yeah, the sort of things that human beings are saying on somebody who is well known to be one of the greatest peacekeepers and affectionate beings in the world, and he was accepted as that up until this. A little 10-second clip goes viral, and then all of a sudden that is just gone. Everybody
Completely
forgets
gone.
everything
At
that
least
he's
by the
done.
haters,
Yeah, haters. So that's what it is. So we've entered into such a low level of consciousness on this planet that we're just looking for things to hate, and we love tearing people down.
Orchestrated by a network of disinformation by various trolls, paid media, and so-called influencers, clearly led and paid by the CCP, who have successfully weaponized social
What?
media at an unprecedented global scale.
Just people being paid.
I'm sure those same trolls
yeah,
will be
we know
commenting on
that.
this video, as they should. That's what they are paid for, and I look forward to that.
Jeez.
According to the research from Miburo, a firm that tracks foreign disinformation operations, at least 200 so-called influencers are operating in 38 different languages connected to the CCP government and or its state media. Freedom House, a non-profit political advocacy group, found that Beijing's media influence efforts are heavily seen in 16 of the 30 countries across the globe. So please join us
Wow.
to combat this disinformation with your own researches, kept with open minds and clear hearts. Before I show you the unedited clip, as my final words, I would like to remind the CCP, their lapdogs, and their delusional sympathizers about what His Holiness the Dalai Lama means to us. Every Tibetan worth their salt will readily sacrifice themselves before forsaking His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And to my fellow Tibetans, we may lose our patience with this sad circus, and at times we want to shout explicit lines at them, but we must rise above it. We know they are wrong. They have been wrong, and they have continuously tried and failed to control or influence the narrative of our people and dictate our history. We may be standing alone in our expressions, but we stand with pride in our identity of peace-loving Tibetans under the wisdom and leadership of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Remember, we stood alone when our country was ruthlessly invaded and we faced a genocide. We stood alone as millions of Tibetans were massacred, and it continues. We stood alone when our ancient monasteries and our cultures were destroyed. We stood alone as 168 Tibetans burned their bodies calling for freedom. We continue to stand alone. But united and together, we know we will stand a day longer than the CCP. Long live His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. Long live His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. Pögelo.
Yeah, I just want to touch on, I remember that. Yeah, Tibet was totally alone, and they called to aid, right? They asked the rest of the world for help, America and every other neighboring country and even far off countries. Nobody would come to the aid just because China was too much of a powerhouse already at that time and didn't want another World War III, right? Yeah, it would have been awful, and then who's to say, right? So then I always justified it in my mind that, of course, Tibetan Buddhism spread all across the world because of it, right? But still, total tragedy and totally awful. And that's why I want to thank India in particular, because, you know, they gave refuge to the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama fled, and then many of the people fled in a safe haven, right? So that is why, that's the power of India. That's the power of Sanatan Dharma.